Hey guys, I'm here in the shop at the house. See how my tech is working today. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Looks like the camera tracking is working. All right, get this Subi tinted. It's been a minute since I've made a video, and my husband left to go run something with our other business, so I will be able to talk to you guys while I tint this car. I actually wanted one of these pretty bad. Every time I get in one and drive it, I'm like, man, I still want one of these. But my husband says Subarus are not for women of my age, that I should be in a Cadillac. That's his opinion, obviously. Cadillacs are nice, they ride smooth, pretty good on maintenance, much better than a Subaru with regard to issues, mechanical or electric. I just am really young at heart, so like a little Subi, little race car. The CTS V is what my husband likes. I admit they do look cool, but I've always felt Cadillacs were for really old people. Let me turn down this Janet Jackson before my whole video gets muted, because, you know, that's not your music. You didn't pay Janet, so we're muting your whole video. I think it's kind of extreme, the copyright stuff now with social media. Like, you're just playing some music in the background or play a piece of something. But remember Napster? Definitely tells my age. Yeah, they were like, no more of that. No more taking music and artists not getting paid. And I definitely respect that. I understand that. I just think it's a little extreme. Oh, I have been tinting windows now. Like when I first learned how to tint, I was probably about 17 years old. I've been tinting, man, 26 years. And that's what this video can be about, learning something new. If you don't like what you do, learning a new skill. And wow, do we live in the best time to learn new skills. I am doing something I never thought I'd be able to do without extensive training and practice, and that is coding. I'm actually coding a website right now for my other business, Firefly Financial, that I'm growing online. And I'm not talking about, an easy website builder like on GoDaddy where you just click from a few options and design your site. I'm talking about actual back-end coding, because Claude Code is allowing me to do that, because I'm able to tell Claude Code exactly what I want. It creates the code. I copy paste the code into the back-end platform to build the website. And it's been really exciting realizing what I can do with AI to literally change my life. This is not something I would have been able to do before. I'd have to pay someone like $500 to build my site, $500 every time I want them to make edits to it or maintenance it. And now I can literally do it all on my own. So it was cool to discover the process. I had purchased my URL, my .com, through GoDaddy, and so I thought I was stuck there, because this is how little I knew about how this works just a couple of months ago. And conversations truly are openers to new seasons in your life, having conversations with right people, because we had one window tint client who is an AI, he works in tech, and just gave me a few portals to a whole nother world, and I entered the portals. So it was just knowledge. So that has me now coding and creating my own website, which I'm now turning into an app. And where was I going with that? Oh, I was saying with GoDaddy. So I purchased the .com on GoDaddy and thought that, it was stuck there. So using AI, specifically Anthropic's product, Claude, and then if you pay for Claude, you have access to more capabilities and more tokens per day so that you can do more, and I'm definitely doing that. So I'm using Claude Cowork and Claude Code. And with Claude Code, it explained to me exactly how to pull my website off of the server of GoDaddy, where it's locked to a person who, like to a novice who needs the website builder to design their site, to a professional. So I made that unlock so that I could get in the back end and build my site to be whatever I want to be without the restrictions of easy website builder design, like front end system for people that don't know how to code. So what I'm saying is AI has just unlocked a whole nother world for those of us willing to just sit down and play with it and realize that we can code and build websites and build apps. And I have taken a class from a person whose whole platform is about vibe coding and building apps with AI. And I took that class and I noticed some limitations there, because you can vibe code an app to a certain extent with a certain amount of architecture, backing it. But for what I want to do and how technical I want it to be, I needed to actually understand that I could actually code like for real. I'll have to edit this video and show you guys my coding screen. So now I own all the code and the back-end system of what I'm building out, which I'm just so excited. So, and I've even asked AI, I was like, if people can just vibe code, if you don't know what vibe coding is you speaking into an app. The app translates your regular conversation, your regular language, like I'm speaking to you right now, takes your idea and creates a website and or an app for you. So that's vibe coding, V-I-B-E, vibe coding, because it just, feels your vibe and then builds it. And it's pretty impressive. And it literally does take 10 to 15 minutes to build, a simple site just talking to an app. So that's that. Some apps, if you wanted to play with that I have played with, are Lovable. And it is in the App Store, whether you're Android or iOS. So I started playing with Lovable, getting really excited about the possibilities, and then I met this customer who is a real coder, and he was like, you can code for real now. No classes necessary, and this is how you do it. And so my hands are actually sore, like both hands I'm feeling pain from all of the typing I've been doing. And in some instances, I can just copy paste code from one place to the next to work on building the site. In other instances, I literally have to type it because the copy paste doesn't work for whatever reason. Sometimes there's some glitches. But if you want to see what I've done so far, my website is fireflyfinancialsuccess.com. And there's 9 tools there. And actually, as I'm recording this, I haven't given you access to the tools yet. The tools you'll actually be able to access by signing up. That's funny. It sounds like an intentional plug, but it really wasn't. How I'm actually going to give access to the tools is through my emails to my subscribers. I'll link that in the video if you're interested. The business is a business for people wanting to bring more order to their finances, to set goals and have a realistic map and vision. If you're a visual learner like me, to actually see your money. So the system is called Firefly Financial. That's the short word name for it. It's Firefly JARS Financial Success Systems, because we are using jars, which are actually separate accounts. They can all be attached to one bank account, but separate containers, if you will. And I have found the bank to host this, which is a high yield savings account. Banks are also making money off your money that's sitting and saving. Even your money that you use every month to pay your bills, you can actually earn some interest off of. So I have a lot of stuff to teach, all learned through going through the fire on my own and finally deciding, you know what? I don't have to be financially literate. Like, I've got AI, I could just start learning stuff. What is an IRA? What is, a 401k? And some of you might be like, who doesn't know what a 401k is? Well, people who are still living in a different era. Just they're not a W-2 or maybe just a 1099. So all of that has always been their own responsibility to fund their retirement and their own health insurance. And some people, I won't name any names, like they're still using paper and pen to like write invoices and track their employees and how they're paying them is like all still on paper. And it's 2026 and I met these people. I promise I'm not making this up. And so that's my customer. So I'm bringing people out of the dark ages. I've had one foot in the dark and one in the light. Being a very savvy person when it comes to using all of the apps and building things. If you guys have been able to see over the years with everything I've built, I built the Soapbox Soap Company online, trained my replacement and was able to sell that business. That was really exciting. Wow, time is going by so fast. I think that was 2 to 3 years ago. But now that AI is where it is, yeah, I'm gonna be moving pretty fast. And this is actually now what used to stress me out, that I was tinting windows instead of, doing something one-to-many, because that's been knowledge I've had for a long time on selling to multiple people at once, making money in your sleep versus doing a service where you can only do one customer, one car, one head, if you're braiding hair, whatever, at a time. I've always understood the implications and the limitations of that. And if you followed me for a while, you know that I've been trying to break out of that realm for a long time. And there's nothing wrong with that realm. I have met people who own land, financially independent now, and they did it with the dark ages type of processing, where they were still invoicing people with literal paper invoices, using snail mail for everything. So it's a choice. But I like the technology. I'm really excited about it. A lot of people are afraid of it, but people were also afraid of the first car. They're like, I'll just keep riding my horse. People were also afraid of cell phones. I'll just keep using my landline. So anything can be used for bad, just as well as it can be used for good. So I plan to use Firefly Financial to bring other people to a point where they're happy with their finances. And the biggest revelation for me in starting to research and build this company out is that the majority of the time, making more money isn't the first issue for people. It's managing what they have. And we all know that in theory, but really knowing something means you're applying it and you're doing it, and that's how you're living. I do clean these windows so many times, but I also get the cleanest tint in the business. And I've seen a lot of tint out there. I have trained a lot of people who think my process is too time-consuming or unnecessary. And then I've also gotten calls from the customers of these other shops. Those customers have no idea that I know all these window tinters. Sometimes I know who they're calling to complain about, but they have no idea. It's a small world, and if you're in the same industry, especially in the same state, there's a good chance you know the other people in the industry. So I have redone quite a few jobs over the course of my career that came from people that I know and or trained who don't want to take the time to clean as thoroughly as I just did. You see the yellow tape here over the seals? This is a fairly new car, but it might live on a dirt road or something like that. So the seals were incredibly dirty. So after blowing them out with the air and scrubbing them, I was still noticing dirt. So I put tape over them so that as I go in with this exposed tint for the install, I'm not grabbing any dirt. My goal is always to get an install where you cannot find any dirt. That is an unrealistic goal, to have zero dirt, but it is realistic to have a very small amount where it's hard to find. And the reason it's unrealistic, because nothing is perfect. something I don't enjoy having to do, but kind of enjoy having to do when people think they're perfectionists with their cars. You know, we get the high-end vehicles and the people are like, I want perfect tint. And then we look at their brand new $100,000 car, $200,000 vehicle, and point out the flaws in their paint from the factory, because nothing is perfect, not even factory paint jobs. And each manufacturer is known for their different pros and cons. I won't name them, but you know, some factories, they do not care about the paint at all because that is not their selling point, and you can tell. Other manufacturers, we know how many years in the paint is going to start fading. Not everyone keeps their cars that long though. I had a customer a couple months ago, a retired teacher here in Aurora, and she was driving her first car. So this woman is in her late 60s, early 70s, and she's literally driving the car she's had since she was 17. And it had fairly low miles on it. I just thought that was beautiful. Really cool. I wish I remember what kind of car it was. I could picture it, but I don't remember the make and model. It was a two-door, it was blue. What was that thing? It wasn't a Mustang. I don't know. What was your first car? Comment in the comments. And do you still have your first car? My first car was a Geo Prism, like a 96, I want to say, blue Geo Prism, and I still see them on the road. Good car. They last a long time. I've got pictures of my son with his baby bottle in that car. We would go to school together in that car. I finished high school with my son, taking him to school with me. So that's actually the picture I'm remembering right now of him in the backseat with his bottle. And we're in the parking lot of my high school. And now he's driving one of these with my two grandkids in the backseat. So it's very funny how history repeats itself. He's got some big trucks and more roomier vehicles, but you know, if you like fulfilling a fantasy of a sports car, or for me it was the Jeep Wrangler. I did that for a few years, but that car is a money pit. If you are a Wrangler person, you know what I'm talking about. If you want to be a Jeep Wrangler person, know that you either need to find a really good mechanic who understands Jeep and all the issues that it's going to have, particularly the Wrangler. Dodge has its whole issues, but we'll just talk about the Wrangler right now. Water pump going out after, I don't know how many miles. I don't want to stay on here and make Jeep look bad because I love Wranglers. Everybody loves Wranglers. They hold their value even though they're not built really well, because they're fun and cute. They're toys. I want to get another one when it makes sense financially to have a car that's literally just a toy. The other way you can be a Wrangler person is to not plan to keep them very long. Maybe keep it 3 or 4 years and then trade it in for the next one. Because if you plan to keep it, you're definitely going to be having a lot of issues. It's similar to the, what is the other car that everyone likes? I think it's such a sexy car. The Range Rover. Oh my gosh. Every person with the Range Rover, that thing is in the shop all the time. Brand new Range Rovers. They make it, I don't even know if they make it to 12 months before they're in the shop getting something fixed. And they get away with it, you know, the manufacturer, because it's just a brand and a look that people like, so they're willing to deal with that. But it is also a money pit, the Range Rover. So we got limo tint, which is my favorite shade to use because it makes such a drastic difference. Makes the car look so sexy. Limo tint on this window. So then I go back in after and pull the yellow tape off, obviously, and it is so clean. I guess I could grab the camera and show you guys. Don't take my word for it. LeVar Burton. Yes, I love reading Rainbow. If you go to my YouTube, I made some videos in honor of reading Rainbow, but with adult books that I read, did some reviews. Let's see. How do I bring you in close without messing up this whole recording? Because it wants to follow my face. So, spoon face. Okay. Let's see if I put my face close to the window. So, see how clean that is? Like no debris. Very close to perfect. I honestly, let's see if I can find an imperfection. That, I see something right here, but I can heat that out. Let's see if you can see it. Right there. I don't know if you can even see that. But it will be gone in a second because I'm going to get rid of it. Yes. Once you get really good at something, it becomes a lot funner because I have really dreaded doing tint for a long time because it was stressing me out so much. But I got through this wall. I broke through this wall of not giving it so much power in my life. I made it my, yeah. I made tint my you-know-what, and it adapts to me now. Be careful talking all that mess because the next car is going to kick my butt just because I said all that stuff. But no, I'm actually, this is what I was alluding to earlier before I went on another bunny trail, is once you spend enough time doing one thing, you break through the wall of getting bored with it, and seeing it as something fun because you are so good at it. And then when you get that good at it, it doesn't take up so much of your mental bandwidth so that you can do something else. So I've literally been coding and building tools for my app while I was tinting today. So whenever there was like a natural break in between where my husband was working something and I could step away, I would go work on a little bit of code, get another tool uploaded, and then go back to tinting. So that has me on a whole nother level energy-wise, because when I thought I was only going to be tinting windows and trying to find the time to do something else, I was really struggling with that mentally. Not because there's anything wrong with just tinting windows, but me personally, there's a lot more that I want to do. So it's important to know who you are and what you want so that you can go after it. And then learn how to go after it and make it fit into your schedule. Maybe you have a 9 to 5 and you got to pull the 5 to 9 to make the other thing work that you want to be doing. Drink a lot of coffee to stay awake. I am noticing now in this time point in my life that coffee is really affecting me. And I've had 5 other women say to me, coffee affects your hormones. I'm trying to get off of it. And I'm like, but I don't want to get off of it. But then I'm feeling like dizziness and fogginess and all the things, that are being advertised to you if you're in that part of the algorithm. Are you in your 40s? Do you need hormone replacement therapy? Like, no, I just need to stop drinking coffee. So here's a tip if you're feeling what I'm feeling and you're at where I'm at. I put a dry erase board on my refrigerator and I put days without coffee. And I've got 1 tick mark so far. So I'm going to try and get that as far as I can and see how I feel. I also tried the Neuro Gum from Amazon. I could leave a link to that. It actually, the sound, they're not paying me, I promise. Neuro Gum isn't paying me. They are actually giving people, I'll talk about myself. I had so much energy I couldn't go to sleep. And I drink coffee, but I'm very caffeine sensitive. So there's caffeine in the Neuro Gum as well as, L-theanine and probably some other good stuff. But I had so much energy that day. So much so that I haven't chewed the gum again because I don't want it to affect my sleep. I'd start chewing gum in the morning to get through a long day and then let it, drink enough water to get out of my system so I can sleep that night. But Neuro Gum, I'll put a link to it. All right, let me tint this window. Let me grab my handy dandy gasket wizard. This tool is so cool. It's fairly new in the tint industry. A lot of tinters hate it because they don't know how to properly use it and they end up tearing through their tint with it. I maybe did that once or twice in the beginning of using this tool. When we started using these tools, I don't know how old this is, within the last 10 years. But this gasket down here is something you have to tuck the tint behind, but with this, you can separate the inner rubber gasket that's down in there that blocks the tint from going down and pull back to get your tint down in, and it also serves the purpose of blocking the felt if the rubber gasket has felt on it, which is a pain in the butt. It gets in under the tint, it looks like dirt, gives tinters a run for their money. Well, this also cuts down significantly on that. What else should we talk about? Firefly Financial, the small steady glow of every disciplined choice. We don't talk about money enough. Notice people who make good money and are making good decisions and are excited about it because it's working for them, they talk about it. They talk about their friends and their family. They learn from each other and make even better decisions, and learn about things like putting all your money in high yield savings accounts and paying your bills out of a high yield, about what's it called? Kind of like microdosing your debt, where you make interest off of a high yield savings account off the money you would have sitting there anyway in a checking to pay your bills. And then you take those small amounts, $12 here, $20 here, $15 there, and put it toward your credit card. So you pay your minimum on your credit card every month, but then you also pay these micro amounts of money that you didn't have to work for, because your money's working for you sitting in these types of accounts. I will get a link to the bank I'm talking about and put it in the bottom so you can use my link to go there and check it out. It is FDIC insured. For you still in the dark ages, like I mentioned before, don't be scared. Yes, it is an online-only bank, but it is 2026. Just do your research. Don't take my word for it. LeVar Burton. If you are not in your late 30s or 40s when I say LeVar Burton, you have no idea what I'm talking about, you should look it up. You should go on YouTube, look it up, and watch some episodes. I am using a 1-inch razor right now. I have worked with window tinters, like some hood window tinters, where they don't put their blade in a container, like in a holder, and they're just like got the blade in their mouth and pop it out, and like, yeah. Window tinting is a very diverse, like culturally, trade. There are tinters in every walk of life. Like, I've tinted with some cholo tinters. They're obviously the ones got the blade under their tongue that they're tinting with. I've tinted with tinters who had diversified their money and own multiple properties, bought the land their tint shop was on, and build beautiful $1 million homes looking over the mountains. I have tinted with a tinter who owned a shop in Las Vegas, who bought property in a very rural area in Nevada, and it is like a Airbnb hotel, like Western themed. Window tinting it's cool. Definitely a skilled trade. People that have asked to be trained who weren't prepared for the fact that it's a skilled trade because they watch us tint and they think it looks easy, those people are disappointed. Took me many years to get this good. I still have yet to figure out how to make these videos when my husband is here, because his phone is the business phone and it's ringing off the hook, and friends are coming by to talk and chat and hang out, so it's like almost impossible for me to make content while I'm tinting. And now while I'm not tinting, I'm building out Firefly Financial and creating all the tools for you guys. It has launched. The first free kit is available. I will put the URL to that on the screen. And that free kit is in exchange for your email, so that you can sign up to be a part of the community, and the emails I send you afterward will have more tools in them for you to get your money right. So earlier I said the first issue most of the time isn't that someone needs to make more money. They need to allocate the funds they make better. And after you get your system set up and you have automated everything so that it's easy, it's really not about discipline, it's just set on autopilot. The only discipline is for you not to overspend on your wants. But there's a whole jar for that called the Exodus jar. My system is based off of biblical principles, some really cool connections that I was able to make with my lifetime of Bible study and finance. Things that were always kind of in front of my face but didn't come together in a full picture until recently. So the Exodus jar is your play jar, and that jar defeats the I deserve mentality that makes so many of us steal from our future and steal from the other jars, your goals. And the reason I use Exodus for that jar is because the children of Israel left Egypt with the wealth of Egypt. Are we still recording? We are. The little tracker just got sensitive because I'm not looking at the camera. Tracking has been... What? Tracking has been exited, but the tripod mode remains active. Please keep the device steady. You keep the device steady. I'm not holding this camera. Really? You don't want to work now? Okay. Well, I know you guys don't want to listen to this video if you're staring at the wall, so let's see if I can figure out how to put this in a stationary mode. There isn't a code I can ask AI. Actually, I could pull up another screen and ask AI how to use this particular software and device, and it would tell me how to fix this problem. But I'm not going to do that right now because I'm trying to finish tending this car. And I said that to encourage those of you who are afraid of using artificial intelligence. It is here to serve you. Don't you serve it. Right. Come on, tracker. All right, we're just going to leave it right there. It's not tracking, but at least you can kind of see what I'm doing. Nope. Technology. Why is it inconsistent? Ooh, I should email this company. Like, can we make the user interface a little easier here? Like, why is it dropping? Let it track the back of my head. I think it's dropping because I'm not staring at it. That was the problem I had when we first started using this. I thought we had defeated that issue. Apparently not. Come on, come on. All right, I'm gonna edit all of this out. You guys don't want to see this. Ah, we're having a good conversation. I lost my train of thought because the camera stopped working. Camera's working. Software and tripod aren't. It's flashing. Let's see. Come on now. All right. Now, what was I saying? Oh, what was I talking about? Finances. Oh, the jars, the Exodus jar. I'll make it short. If you play too much, you overspend, you end up stealing from your future. So that's the Exodus jar. You spend 40 years in the desert wandering around because you charged everything on credit cards instead of spending what you could actually afford to spend on your wants. So that's the Exodus jar. And the tools I'm building will allow you to track everything you're doing, see where your money is in a much more fun way, because spreadsheets, I had to make it fun to get better with finances. Had to make it pretty. Had to make it more rewarding. A little ASMR, gamify it a bit. Why are you flashing at me now? Are you still recording? What are you doing? I don't know what the flashing light means. Does it mean you're not tracking me anymore? Let's see. Nope. Okay. So there's the Genesis jar. That's for investing in multiplication. Exodus jar, as I already mentioned, for play, to defeat the I deserve complex. Leviticus jar, that is for self-development, learning, growth. So books, audiobooks, seminars, classes, paying a mentor, whatever. Your finances will never outgrow your knowledge, your application. So you can't grow past the level of ignorance that you're at. So that's why the Leviticus jar is so important. Numbers jar, that's for saving for whatever you want versus deciding to just swipe it on a credit card, because that's what screws up our finances. And the Deuteronomy jar is for tithes and offerings. And if you don't tithe, I won't give you a sermon on that. It's just principle that I have practiced and proved that, and it's proven to me that it's a universal principle that works. But you can use that also for just giving, donations, sponsor a child, whatever. Giving is definitely a huge blessing to the people you're giving to, but also a huge blessing and a door opener for the giver. All right, I'm gonna get this window installed. Hopefully you guys can kind of see what I'm doing because my technology is teching. You know how tech be doing. Tech be teching, life be laughing. See if it won't swing around and do something weird. Oh, where do you find the free kit online to get signed up and subscribed? I am honestly trying to remember what that URL is. I have been building and coding so many things. It's mixing together in my brain, but I will put the link on the video. It is called the Free Money Clarity Kit because that is free. I just need to subscribe, and that's your payment, because you want to get the other information and all the sequential steps so that we can talk about money like people who have it do, so that we can have it. Not because I hate this saying, not because money makes you happy. I hate that saying. Only broke people say that. Money can't bring happiness. It brings food and keeps the lights on. What are you talking about? It can also take care of other people who maybe can't take care of themselves. You can feed the poor if you have money. How are you going to help other people if you're poor? So if you find yourself saying things like money can't bring happiness, it's really time for a paradigm shift. The Bible says you can't serve two masters, can't serve mammon and God. And people have taken that to mean that they should be poor, when that's not the middle ground. The middle ground is faith first, then family, then finances. Obviously, if you're greedy and money hungry and put money before everything, that's where the evil is. But to be successful and do well financially is a blessing from God. And every main character in the Bible, in that history, was financially blessed until they weren't, because of the lesson that was there for us to learn from, and then gained it back again when they started walking in alignment. So that's what Firefly Financial is about, is finding our alignment. You can go to fireflyfinancialsuccess.com. That is the landing zone, and I will be adding things to that. And the free Money Clarity Kit you can find through my Substack, substack.com. My Substack is called The Firefly Letters by Delise Collins, and I put a link to that free Money Clarity Kit in almost every article that I publish, and I publish every Tuesday an article on life, faith, and money. Card turned off. Really cool, something we learned while we were training someone a few years back is that some of these cars have an override where you hold the start button down for 10 seconds and then it stays in valet mode so the car doesn't turn off while you're tinting it. I just changed your life with that if you're a window tinner. Or some other car service provider who's always dealing with the car turning off while you're needing to be rolling the windows up and down or doing whatever you do to cars. And I don't know if it works on Subies. Haven't tried it. Definitely works on GM. Start button for 10 seconds. All the lights turn on and the car just stays on. And like I was saying before, just ask AI what models, make and models that works on. That might be an overriding majority of models. Isn't it awesome to live in a day and age where you can just like ask your phone absolutely anything and you don't have to believe it, you don't have to trust it, but it's definitely a great starting point for you to start doing some research. I can tell you one thing, Claude code doesn't lie. There's always that little message in the bottom, double check because AI makes mistakes, blah, 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 blah. But with coding, I am building something real and it hasn't made any mistakes. Every time there's a mistake, it's operator error. Or the mistake, it makes the type of mistakes where like it's not a mind reader, like you have a vision for what you want to create and you don't know how to prompt it, how to put it within the boundaries of what you want, so then it will go off on a tangent or take you down some bunny trails. But the better you understand that, the better you get at prompting, the better it will serve you and be more efficient. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm excited about AI. So excited. What I had mentioned earlier, if you guys were curious, if you're wanting to try and code some things and build your own products or software, just a website, you need a few tools. So you're going to need the paid version of Claude because you're going to need the extra tokens, and then Claude Co-work, which has a feature called Dispatch in it, where you can actually dispatch tasks from your phone to your computer, as long as your computer, your desktop or laptop is open and on, and it will run reports for you, check your emails for you, create files for you based on whatever task you gave it. You come back to your computer after you're doing your other thing, you went to lunch, went for a walk, whatever, and then the files are ready for you on your computer. Yes, you have to give it very specific permissions as to what it can access, so don't think you're just like unleashing this into like all your personal files and stuff like that. That's not how it works, although the movies would like to have us think that. Not to say that that's not a possibility, everything is possible, but if you don't try out of fear and don't see what the possibilities are, you miss out on a lot of opportunity that is now in front of us because of where technology is. I never thought I would be coding. I did have thoughts of that would be cool if I could, but I didn't think I was going to actually dedicate that amount of time in my life to go learn it. And now, that's not what I have to learn. Oh, the tools that you're going to need. So there's obviously hundreds, maybe thousands of options out there on different tools people use. What I am using to code my website and create my app is a combination of Claude. I also use Chat. I pay the paid version for that as well, but I do all the coding with Claude Code. I don't know if ChatGPT isn't as advanced as Claude. I'm gonna just put it out there. So Claude Code and Claude Co-work, I use both of those. They're both within the Claude app. Something called VS Code. It's an app you have to download to your laptop. Something called Git Bash, which is the coding screen you have to download to your laptop. And then GitHub, GitHub, is where all of your code lives online, where you build out the whole business or application that you're building. And I'm new to all of this, and I'm using all of it very efficiently every day, because anything I don't understand, I just use plain language to tell AI that I don't understand it and how do I do this or that, and it gives me plain language back to help me understand it. And if I'm needing an actual line of code, it writes the code for me, and then I plug it into the coding screen, Git Bash, and then Git Bash communicates with GitHub, which is the server for the back end of putting your product out there. It's really awesome, guys. If you are willing, I hope you're not listening to me and saying I'm not smart enough to do that, because you literally are. It will walk you through every step. It just takes time, commitment, time, and the desire to want to do it. It's not like I'm not smart enough for that. That obstacle of not being smart enough or not being techie is no longer an obstacle, is what I'm trying to tell you. I hope you understand. And you see I'm not techie because I have to bend over to talk to you right now because the camera's not following me because I don't know how to fix that. That's how not techie I am. And I'm coding. And I'm not talking about vibe coding through a vibe coding app. I'm talking about actually going into the back end and plugging in the codes. So I asked AI this. Let me sit down because I can't figure out how to make this track. I asked AI if someone could just use Lovable and vibe code an app, what's the point of using all of the professional tools to go into the back end and build out an app or a website? And the answer said, with a website builder like in GoDaddy, you're building a bicycle. It will work, it'll serve its purpose, but there's so many limitations. With what you are doing with Claude Code and Git Bash and the VS Code, is you're building a automobile. So I used to operate off bicycles, but now I'm building a very advanced supercar that's not gonna break down. I haven't got to the point. I have talked to people who are having problems with the back-end architecture when it comes to processing payments through their app, but I have a workaround for that, and it's gonna be that instead of me trying to host people's bank account information within my app for them to pay for their subscriptions or whatever product that I'm selling, that product will be sold through an external place that already handles that every day, all day, and works so that I'm not hosting that back in. So that's my theory, but until you get to a bridge and have to actually cross it, or you're like, oh, that's where that thinking is going awry. But my funnel is up and it's working, and I've had a handful of purchases for the ebook. The ebook right now is only $27, and it teaches the entire system, so it is priced very, very low. Actually, all of the free tools that I've created are to point people to the ebook. So you can get to the ebook also through subscribing in exchange for that free money clarity kit. And you'll get a response email from me and a link to the ebook. And yeah, it's time for us to level up. We ain't gotta be broke no more. Because we make money, right? We just don't know what to do with it. People have built businesses. There's businesses right now valued at $3 million. I was reading the article the other day, 3 million to, is it 30 million? And the initial investment for them to get started was between $300 and $3,000 that people have spent to build amazing companies that are changing people's lives. So commerce, e-commerce, it is biblical if you're buying things that actually change your life, level up your life, and help and improve other people's lives. I'm Delise. I'm gonna move to the other side of this car and get it tinted. I obviously like to talk more than I like to multitask. So I'm gonna move there and get that done. Love you guys, and I'll see you whenever the next video is. Follow me on Substack, the Firefly Letters. Facebook, we've got a Facebook group called Firefly Financial Systems. Look at this bruise. I had a blood draw the other day, and he was a new guy. Yeah. All right. It's getting better. See you guys later. Bye.